Hello friends. So today I wanted to show you a little trick I learned, and according to my daughter she doesn't like it, but I thought that it was kind of a neat thing to do, and it's a really subtle way to add steam to an image that the steam is not showing up. So there are a lot of different ways to make steam in Photoshop, particularly using white paintbrushes and different blend modes, but a lot of them look really fake. So if I were going to actually add real steam to a drink, I would definitely make a brush out of actual steam if I could. And that is kind of an acrobatic process, but I can maybe show that as a tutorial sometime. But it requires, capturing actual steam on a black background with the light just so, and, making a brush out of it. But if you want something faster and you just want to add the hint that there's something going on, a little bit of condensation happening, you can do it right in Lightroom. And it's one of my favorite tools, which is the dehaze slider, which I have a feeling Lightroom had no idea how many things I would come up with to use it for. I use it to make fog. I use it to diffuse backgrounds. I use it for a lot of things. So in this case, I actually have a cup of hot coffee here. But it's not really rising above the cup. It's not looking like there's anything in there. And I do have some frames where I'm at a 45-degree angle getting the bubbles on top of the frothy coffee, but that wasn't what I was going for in this image. So what I'm going to do is grab the brush tool, and I'm going to put the dehaze at -100, and I'm going to zoom in to, let me go over here and zoom in to the cup so that we have the top of the mug visible. I have the tool here, the brush tool, already activated, and for the sake of what I'm doing, I'm going to add the exposure to really, a fairly high amount. And the reason I'm doing this is just so I can see what I'm painting on. You could also use the red masking tool by hitting the O key. But I don't want it red because then I can't really see what was happening with the effect. So I'm going to use really high exposure so that I can see what's happening. So I'm just going to add kind of random bits here coming out of the cup, and that is about it. So I'm going to lower the exposure down so that it's normal, probably all the way off. And then I can show you what it looks like before and after. So that's after, and this is before. It just hazes it out and gives the impression of some condensations, a little bit of steam, but not over the top little twirly bits of smoke or steam. It just gives the feeling that there's something happening in the cup. You might want to lower the exposure a little bit more. The dehaze adds a little bit of light all on its own, and while this cup is illuminated, I might be able to add a little bit of exposure. But if it gets too high, it starts to look funny, and we don't want to do that. And then you can hit the O key like I said before, and that's going to show where it went. And if I want to erase something, I can just hit the Option or Alt key and erase it right off of any area where I don't want the spillover happening, and then resume with the O key to remove it. So let's turn off the brush and zoom back out, and you can see that it looks like there's a little bit of something happening in there, and primarily it blurs the back of the cup. And I can show you that by opening up the brush tool again and turning off all of the brush adjustments. You see there? For what it's worth, I also used the dehaze tool with negative exposure on the corners here as a vignette, and you can see that when I turn it off and on and you look in this area, I added a vignette with the dehaze tool. It's a very soft vignette. It is beautiful, very believable, because the negative dehaze, let me see if I can figure out let me activate that brush for you. Let's see here what we've got going on. We've got -62 for dehaze and -2.34 for exposure. And that just gives us a little bit of haze in the corners. while giving the cup a little animation. Now, my daughter actually preferred this one because she liked it crisp and sharp, but I wanted to share this because it does add a little something, I think, atmospherically to the image, and it may come in handy when we're heading into the hot cocoa and hot coffee in the morning season, except for our friends down in the southern hemisphere where you guys are enjoying summer. Anyway, thank you. Bye-bye.